So welcome to Intuitive You on Oneness Talk Radio. And I am so happy you're here today listening to this, whether it's the recording or you're here with us live. Today is always a special day, whatever the day is going to bring. But the reason that I feel really called to be on the show this morning is to talk to you about the power of your intuition. So the power of your intuition is your ability to stay connected to the life force energy that's constantly guiding you moment by moment. So, a lot of people, some people have religious connotations to spirituality, right? When in essence, spirituality is really our ability to stay connected to life itself, right? To be connected to this presence of love. So when you're listening to your intuition, you're in flow to that highest state of expansion of love. And you can feel it, you can sense it, you can know it, and it naturally is going to evolve you and keep you moving forward on the path of your highest potential. And one of the beautiful things about life is we get to create and decide what we want, right? So when we take a moment to tune in to our hearts and our intuition, that deepest part of our knowing, we can actually gain the fulfillment that we're seeking because it really is going to start within us, right? So let's just take a moment. I invite you to tune into your heart and what your heart wants to experience this lifetime. And then I invite you to bring your awareness into your belly, a couple inches below your belly button. Right to your intuitive core. So you might want to visualize the color yellow, a couple inches above your belly button, and the color orange right below it, connecting to that center point of knowing and of truth within you. So as you feel this place of truth, you can connect to this knowing of certainty. And for me, I think about it as like a compass. So, this inner compass of your intuition can guide you towards what you want to experience, what your intention is, what your heart's desire is. And one of the questions that I had for today's show is, what does it mean to follow your intuition? So, what does it mean? So, if you think about, when I follow my intuition, what does that mean? So just take a moment to ask yourself that. What does it mean to follow my intuition? To see what the answer is for you. For me, when I'm following my intuition, what it means for me is I know that I'm going to be to greater service, right? I know that whatever is going to come through me from that place of intuition is going to be betterment for the entire planet, right? Because the soul's perspective is love. If we're being guided by that, we're naturally going to serve. It also means that I know that I'm in alignment with that highest part of me, right? So I just invite you to kind of tune into what your own intuitive discernment is, meaning what feels like your intuition and what doesn't feel like your intuition. So, probably the easiest way to do that is to think about a time in the past where you followed your intuition. So, I just invite you to bring a memory of when you followed your intuition. Just notice who's around you. What did it feel like? What were the sounds around you? And maybe just anchor that feeling. So the way you anchor is you can just place your hand on your body for about 3 seconds, letting your nervous system know every time you touch that specific area, you can feel that feeling. So I can also do it on my thumb, or you could do it on your thumb and middle finger. So just knowing, remembering what it feels like to follow your intuition. And when you're following your intuition, you feel good. So just notice those good feelings. And then if your eyes are closed, I invite you to open them. And then we're going to do like break state. So just think about like what you had for breakfast or what you did earlier today. And then we're going to go to the opposite of that. So when was a time that you didn't follow your intuition. So just think about a time when you didn't follow your intuition. Breathe into that and notice the sensations that were in your body when you didn't follow your intuition. And just notice if there's a color, sounds around you, what happened, what that situation was like when you didn't follow your intuition. Good. And then once you have the discernment, come back to the center point. So back to this moment and just kind of notice like the two paths. So what it felt like to not follow your intuition and what it felt like to follow your intuition. So as you start, it's almost like building a muscle. You start to notice what it feels like, right? To strengthen it, to follow your intuition. And when you feel weaker, maybe that wasn't following my intuition. And really moving into a place of non-judgment and pure unconditional love for yourself, using these examples just as that, examples and experience, right? So knowing that your soul and your intuition is going to guide you to yet the next step, but you could just use the past as learning, right? So now, as you think about moving forward in your life and really focusing and visualizing what it is that you want to create. So let's just choose one thing today, whether it's for your personal relationships, your business, your health. Just pick one thing. So let's say it's for better health and you want to just feel really, really good at your optimal health. So start to just visualize, imagine, feel, sense, and know what that would be like if it was already done. So just feel your optimal health, how you feel, what you're hearing, maybe even the smell in the air. And then just notice if there's anything else important about having this already done. There's a part of you that knows exactly what it's like to have it already done. Let's go ahead and anchor that feeling by bringing your left hand, so your first finger and your thumb together, connecting with the part of you that knows. It's already done. And now connecting in with your intuition, just feeling a moment to feel yourself, your intuition draw closer, almost it just kind of leans in towards what it is that you're creating. And I often think of intuition as like your best friend, right? Like it's literally there, just waiting to support you, waiting to encourage you, waiting to point you in the right direction. So as you start to lean into that inner knowing of your intuition, think about the next steps and the new beliefs that you need to have about yourself and the world to be able to have this. So for optimal health, maybe it's, I know I'm good in my body as a belief. And maybe your next step could be eat some greens, right? Like I had broccoli for breakfast, like whatever it is, right? Like what is the next step? Just feel yourself taking that step. And as you do, notice how you start to feel good, because as you're following your intuition, it feels good. And then see if you want to take one more step in that direction. And just notice with certainty what that step is. And if you're not quite sure what the next step is, you can take an intuitive pause. You can just wait. So it really is a moment step by step. And sometimes it's just that one next step. So trust that. And the next question that I had on the agenda today is, how do you know you're following your? So I kind of already gave you a clue, which was it feels really good. So if it feels right, it's right. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, right? So it's really that simple. So you know you're following your intuition when it feels right, when it feels good, when things feel like they're in alignment. And I think we can all probably say we know when something feels a little bit off, or we know when it feels on. So you just want to wait for those moments like the green light that it feels on. And sometimes there's like a little adjustment, like, ooh, this does or doesn't feel good, right? Like you just kind of take that intuitive pause and that time to discern and yourself settle in, right? Because when a decision feels good, you can actually feel like the full body, just congruence, right? It's like, yes, I'm ready. So just wait for that full body congruence. And then the third point I wanted to bring is it safe to trust your intuition? So it's so fascinating. When I first started the school, I remember a student asked that. We did a little video on it. It's actually on the site. And I remember thinking, why would somebody even question if it's safe to trust your intuition? But I realized, the primary objective of our subconscious mind is to keep us safe. So we have to know that whatever we're following is going to be safe, right? So the answer to this question is yes, because your intuition is that innate wisdom, that high intelligence. There's like 500 million cells in your gut alone. When you're listening to your intuition at the physical and the soul and the mental and the emotional level, you are tapping in to that higher intelligence. Sonia Choquette calls it the sixth sense, right? So it's the energy that we can feel even beyond our senses. And what we do in the Intuitive Success Club is we actually bring in the sense of intuition into the five senses. So your body can then start to integrate it and feel it. And then as you feel it, you can become it. And then as you become it, you can attract it. As you attract it, you live it. So if you're curious about that, you can go to the intuitivesuccessclub.com or send us an email at success@lifeforceconnection.com and we can book an intro session for you, because it's really about applying it, right? So when you actually practice the techniques, and one of my teachers, Michael Bennett, he always said it's in the experience of it, right? So I can tell you, but until you actually move into the activations of feeling your intuition and letting that power of your intuition move you, these are just words, right? So I just invite you now to connect in, feeling that presence of your innate knowing, of your wisdom, of your truth. And then start to feel with confidence your ability to listen to what your intuition already knows. So just yesterday, I was getting my eyebrows done, and the woman at the reception said, we kind of already know. Our intuition is already telling us before the words even come. So if you can actually drop in a little bit underneath the words or even the moment, and you can feel it's almost like a current. When there's a river and there's that current running underneath it, it's the energy underneath the energy. And that is actually what's interconnecting us all. So if you notice, like any decision that you've made, you've probably made a decision before you made that decision, right? Like before you came to listen to this, some part of you made the decision before you even got on to make the decision to be here, right? So it's actually this intuitive and then subconscious decision that then follows the conscious mind, right? And then everything comes in alignment. So if you start tuning into the energy that you want to experience in your life, you'll be drawing to you those experiences and then releasing the ones that don't serve you, right? So a lot of the process is letting go of those subconscious blocks of the fears or the doubts or the resistance or resentment or whatever it is that could potentially keep you from experiencing the love and joy, peace and harmony, whatever it is that you want, right? And those are beliefs, right? So those subconscious beliefs are just stored cellular memory. And that just happens from our experience. So, typically in the world, there's things that happen. And anytime there's a disturbance to the field of energy that is anything other than love, it actually creates a blockage. And so that blockage then allows that life force to stop, right? And then when it's released, the life force can pass through. And the life force is that loving presence. So take a moment to just notice in your energy field in your body if you feel any blocks or resistance to letting that love move through you. And wherever that is, let's just apply pure unconditional love. And just bring this white golden light from the seventh chakra, your divine higher self, presence of God within and around you, feeling unconditional in that block, that resistance, and then just see, what does that part of you need to know? Could be something like, I am loved, I am safe. Just notice what comes. And you'll notice that energy start to release. And if it feels a little bit deeper, it could be a memory that's really just ingrained, in which case we would probably go back and do some timeline on it. So you can email us to do deeper work at success@lifeforceconnection.com. But just for now, start to notice how the energy starts to shift as you bring love in. And then you open to receive how you can clear it more. So as you start taking that time to be aware of the emotional resistance within you to actually experiencing what you want, you can then choose, if you want, to take the steps to release that, right? And so, it's a personalized process to everybody, because typically those deeper beliefs are rooted in childhood or some traumatic experience. So we actually go in and shift the emotional energy from negative to positive, and then we change the negative belief to a positive one. Then once those beliefs are aligned with the intuition, the energy will flow. And then you have an entirely new experience that's based in positive emotion and positive belief. So again, you can go to success@lifeforceconnection.com to send us an email if you want to take that deeper. So for now, let's see if there's any questions that anybody has in the chat. I'll see if I can open that. I'm not sure. Still not. Here we go. Oh, hey, Paul. So, overlay does not work. Okay. So if anybody has any questions or comments that they'd like to put in the chat, please feel free. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. It's always fun to connect. And the other thing that I want to invite people to is go to the main website to get the chakra act balancing technique. So if you go to www.lifeforceconnection.com, you can get that free activation, and that'll just move you into the energy and just keep you moving on that up and up. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to connecting with you more soon. All right, take care, everybody.